So Kevin Feige came out and criticized Marvel's movies and shows, and he believes there's one major problem going on. Now, Kevin Feige addressed the issue that he's seen with many of the MCU's movies and TV shows in recent years. He says that part of the problem going on is because the multiverse saga has more releases in 4 years than the Infinity Saga had in 11 years. Now, he's not lying. He's right on the money with pushing out a lot of content. But another problem is the faces of the MCU right now are not interesting to your audience. You're trying to take an audience that was in high school and college, who are now adults now, who have watched this journey, and you have to keep them interested. They are comparing Bucky and Falcon, fair or unfair, to Captain America. And you have to live up to that expectation again. You have Ironheart replacing Iron Man. You look at the Black Panther situation with Chad Boswick. That's an unfortunate situation. I believe, obviously, if he was still alive, he would still be the Black Panther. Now they're going to try to have his son become Black Panther, so that should be interesting. But you had momentum with Black Panther, and unfortunately, you lost some of it from having one of the best characters, in my opinion, Chad Boswick as your Black Panther. So there's been some momentum lost there. And then you push out content that's trash, like the Eternals wasn't good, She-Hulk wasn't good, the Marvels was horrible. You have the other things like Hawkeye was okay, Miss Marvel was terrible, Thor: Love and Thunder, it was okay. It doesn't have the same feeling like you once saw Marvel in its glory and how they were just pushing out good films, good stories. Not every film was great. Let's not forget there were some flops, but they had direction and they had balance with characters. Now your faces are what I guess you could say Falcon, the new Captain America, Bucky, and you have your other female characters like the new Hawkeye girl, cool, I guess. I do like the Black Widow sister, Yelena. I think she's really cool. But again, she's tied to Black Widow and Natasha. So now you're reminded of that. I think part of the reason why Marvel is struggling, in my opinion, is people are having, these characters and they're associating them with the other ones who had a lot of influence and they had a lot of aura. And now it's like we have to meet that expectation, get that same feeling. But when you're pumping out so much content, people are getting fatigued. That's a real thing. And the stories just aren't interesting. Like the Thunderbolts wasn't bad to me, but the characters, if I see them go fight a Doctor Doom, they're going to get crushed. Like we saw how they struggled against Sentry. They had to go into his mind just to get him to turn from being evil. Like you're not going to beat him in a fist fight with those characters. So again, it's a combination, in my opinion, of the fatigue going on and also just some of the agendas they've been pushed out in the past. We saw in She-Hulk, all the feminism going on was just really annoying, and it was a dumb, dumb show. And then we saw with the Eternals, we had the two guys who were married and had a child, and I was like, come on, what are we doing here? And the list goes on. It was just absolute garbage woke stuff, and people aren't buying it. You're seeing the numbers in Thunderbolts. It's the second lowest opening for a Marvel film. That's not good. It opened up at $74 million. Captain America opened up at $89.5 million. So what does that tell you? People are not going to see Marvel films anymore because of the messaging they've been pushing across, what Disney's been doing with other content. And to say it's just, oh, we've been pushing out so many things. Yes, that's true. But on the flip side of that, the characters aren't interesting. The messages that you're pushing out isn't working. And you haven't taken time to think and listen to your audience. There is a majority of people out there that don't like what's going on. Those are just the facts. Until Disney and Marvel actually admit what's really going on, they'll never really understand. Maybe they have to hit rock bottom before they recognize, oh, wait a minute. Maybe we shouldn't gender swap Taskmaster, who's a bad, bad assassin. Maybe we shouldn't gender swap Ghost. Maybe we shouldn't gender swap Silver Surfer, especially the Fantastic Four. That movie has to be good because that's supposed to build towards Doomsday. If that movie flops and they don't break even, Marvel is going to be cooked. Now, there's still push for Doomsday, but I think it's going to end up being a disaster. Now, I've said this before. I'm not going to be overcritical of every Marvel product they push out after Endgame because there's been some good stuff going on. Like No Way Home was amazing. I thought Shang-Chi was really good. I love the What If show. Loki, I didn't care much about because I don't care about the characters. So I don't want to give much of an opinion on that. I thought WandaVision was awesome. So there's been some good stuff. Even the Guardians of the Galaxy, the third one, was amazing. And outside of that, has been a lot of good stuff. Deadpool and Wolverine, I didn't really get into. Just the stuff I don't agree with, just the content. That's just my own personal conviction. But I heard that movie was really good as well. So there's some things that have been good, and there's some things that have been bad. So I don't want to be overcritical or act like they haven't made anything good. Like I see with Neurotic and I see with Critical Drinker. They're funny, but they can go a little too far, in my opinion. With like I saw in the Thunderbolt review, I was like, it wasn't that bad, guys. But that's just my opinion. So again, when it comes to the Marvel universe, you have to wonder what are they going to do next? What is the end game here when it comes to, finishing out I believe they're in phase 5 now. It's just hard to keep up with. I like the Daredevil TV show because I thought, it felt like standalone-ish, and I think that's what Marvel needs to do now is just go in a direction like X-Men 97. They brought that back, was awesome. I love that show. They're having more success, in my opinion, with standalone projects. And when they're not trying to push these ideas to people, it does really well. That should be their focus. Yes, you can think about, oh, let's have this big theme, this big universe, but you just did that with Endgame and you're trying to match that same feeling. I don't see that working out. Now, if they prove me wrong next year, cool. It's just not looking really good right now for Disney and Marvel, and to act like it's just one problem is not true whatsoever. There's other things going on that they have done over the last 6 years, and now they're paying for it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about what Kevin Feige had to say, how it's only one problem when it comes to the Marvel films and TV shows. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.